As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and you shall wear the starry crown. Good Lord, show us the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down to the river to pray.
Why did Paul covet the resurrection power? And what is the means by which this power flows through us? This is the second part in the podcast series, What is Righteousness? You are listening to the Christian podcast Manna, in Hebrew, What is it? Welcome.
Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Come on, brothers, let's go down to the river to pray. As I went down to the river to pray.
The only way to experience the power of resurrection in our bodies is to bring to death what God desires by the power of the Holy Spirit. Romans 8:13. Die to the things that Jesus died for, so that ye may live because of him. There is a purity of behavior that comes out of such a consecration. This kind of purity and righteousness pleases God. This is the righteousness that Paul is talking about in Philippians chapter 3. A purity that comes from the power of resurrection because Brother Joe has given his body to death by the Holy Spirit at the God-ordained hour for God-ordained purposes. There is a further mystery to this doctrine. Paul speaks of constantly giving over to death for Jesus' sake, 2 Corinthians 4:11, and always carrying about the death of Jesus in the body, 2 Corinthians 4:10. What does these mean? From these statements, it is evident that the Christian life is a series of such an hour. By giving over to death for Jesus' sake, Brother Joe always carries the death of Jesus in his body moment by moment, hour by hour. What is the result? Because of this kind of constant submission to carrying the cross, the life of Jesus is manifested in Brother Joe's body, 2 Corinthians 4:10 and 11. This life is called the resurrection life. This is the same life that Jesus had after his resurrection. And when Brother Joe walks and works in this resurrection life, the act and actions emanating out of him is the act and actions powered by the life of Jesus. This is the kind of act and action that pleases God. This is what it means to experience the power of his resurrection by sharing in his sufferings. Are our deeds coming from such a submitted body, where we are constantly carrying the death of Jesus moment by moment and daily? For only out of such a fellowship with Christ, taking his dying and thereby taking his life, comes a purity and righteousness which is pleasing to God. This is called the crucified life. We blame the Jews and look down on them for being legalistic. But the truth of the matter is that for over 2,000 years, many more Christians than the Jews in the previous 2,000 have strived to be righteous legalistically without bearing the death of Jesus Christ in their bodies. Thereby, they have tried to live righteously by their own strength devoid of the resurrection life. This is the unknown scandal and the hidden lie of modern Christianity. If you believe not, here is an example. April 12, 2016, Pew Research article, Religion in Everyday Life, states this, open quotes, however, in several areas of day-to-day life, Pew Research Center survey finds that people who pray every day and regularly attend religious services appear to be very similar to those who are not as religious. Lately, some articles have surfaced that show that Christians are only marginally less likely to lie when compared to their non-Christian counterparts. What has Christianity become? Have we become incapable of the truth? Are you walking in the power of his resurrection or in the power of your own strength? If you live in God's life, his behavior will show. If you live in your life, your behavior will show.
Oh, fathers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, fathers, let's go down to the river to pray. As I went down to the river to pray,
You are listening to Manna, in Hebrew, What Is It? For transcripts, visit besaved.org. Subscribe on iTunes and Google Play by searching for Manna, What Is It? Podcast. Till next, God bless, be prepared for His coming, and bye-bye.
Don't you wanna go down? Oh, mothers, let's go down to the river to pray. Oh, sinners, let's go down to the river to pray.